Hare Krishna. So we are on the 16th chapter and the verse number 19th. So Tanaham dveshatah kruran samsareshu naradaman Shipami ajassaram ashubhan asurishu eva yonishu. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So far the discussion had been going about the demonic individuals, or what it means to be of demonic propensities. So all those described. Now Krishna says, what is the destination of such rascal? Krishna, I do not think that he envy the demons. Na dveshtu asti na priya sama sarveshu bhuteshu. Krishna says, I am equal to everyone. But the laws are such. He has created a system of governing this world so that who cause violence towards other living entities, they have to be punished. Now, why they have to be punished? Because they're breaking the rules. If somebody do not follow the rules, what do you expect? If you imagine all of us were following the rules, if all of us, if in case were told that this is what the traffic laws are, that's it. And if none of us would break the traffic laws, would you think there would be a requirement of traffic police? And then the penalties which are described according to the law you break? Won't be. But because we are in this world, by default, it means we cannot follow the law. We just being present in this world by itself means that we cannot follow the law. Hey, Hare Krishna. Why it seems to be, I'm keeping quite still, my mouth is speaking here. Hare Krishna. Something else is going on the screen. Anyways, I got distracted. I better look at Bhagavad Gita only right now. Okay. A super delay. क्या आपकी साउंड कहाँ जा रही है? So our super confident brahmachari system is ready. हाँ, आपका confidence level breaks the record of the most confident person. ठीक है, I'll continue with the class right now. I'll have to, because I'm gonna here. I'm gonna take my off. Yeah, so point is we cannot follow the laws in general, so there are laws defined here. We cannot follow the rules, therefore laws are defined here. So now Krishna says, so therefore, the hellish conditioned life or the hellish planets are created to send those people who, despite being taught the laws, break the laws. Because when people break the law, then others who are following the law, they suffer. Imagine there's a traffic signal and there's a green signal for the other side to travel or to go. And suddenly the other person from opposite side, which he should not be driving a car, he suddenly brings a car. It's going to lead to a road accident. So just to reprimand such individuals who do not care for anyone's well-being, who commit violence to others, for them, this is what happens. So that they recover from their mentality. So purport. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that the placing individual soul in a particular is a prerogative of the supreme will. Karamana deva naitrena jantu deha utpatte. The demonic person may not agree to accept the supremacy of the Lord, and it is a fact that he may act according to his own whims. But his next birth will depend upon the decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not on himself. Now people have become so ignorant that they say there is no next birth only. They have not only rejected the presence of the Lord, now these demonic people say there's no next birth only. Kisne dekha hai? This is the only life, enjoy. I remember I've probably shared this before. When I was studying in America, there used to be one big college festival in our campus. It was not in our campus, but it was organized by students, where thousands and tens of thousands of students will come and attend that major festival. Anyways, I'm not going too much in details. So from ISKCON, there was a book table kept there, stall kept book table kind of thing. And I had been connected to them for a few months. So it was the first festival which I was attending. I had never knew about the festival. Through them, I got to know. So I went along with the ISKCON devotees to be on the book table. So I'm just kind of connected for a few months. So I thought, okay, they are going, we'll also go. Let's see. I want to do some along with all of them. So long story short, and I would say, I would not say that I saw all the 80% people walking, but whoever came at the table or walking around, particularly ladies, had this big letter written on their body all over. This is my damn body. I can do anything that I want to do with it. I mean, I don't know from why they have to write all this thing. There would have been something and all that. I believe this is probably was indicating to anti-abortion laws. That's right. They don't recognize, despite science giving evidences, they don't recognize, they don't want to accept the fact that there's a life within the womb of a mother. They think life only exists when the child has come out of the womb of the mother. So seeing is believing. So I cannot see how the child is growing in my womb. So there is no life. But when the child comes out of the womb, then I see, so there's life. These are educated people. This is what college, all college students, they don't accept this. So I mean, just imagine where we have gone degraded to, like that. So Prabhupada was saying, they don't understand how the Lord decides your next destination. I'm making a point. They don't even know if there is next destination. They don't believe in God. They don't have any idea of next destination. It's a very, very terrible situation right now. All right. So we're talking. Therefore, in the material existence, we find so many species of life: animals, insects, man, and so on. All are arranged by the superior power. They are not accidental. As for the demoniac, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and thus they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Such demonic species of man are held to be always full of lust, always violent and hateful, and always unclean. They are full of lust, always violent, hateful, and always unclean, outside and inside both. The many kinds of hunters in the jungle are considered to belong to the demonic species of life. While reading this lines, so many incidents are running through my head. This is not my time to discuss all that, which kind of indicate and represent this kind of people in the world today. Anyways, text number 20. What happens next? Asuram yonimapanna Mudha janmani mam aprapye kaunteya tatoyanti athamam gatim. Attaining repeated births amongst the species of demonic life. Asurim yonim apanna. So what would he get? He would get a demonic species, apanna. So it means his next parentage would be a demonic in that sense. Mudha janmani. Janmani means birth after birth. Mam aprapyev kaunteya. Birth after birth, he would, like this. Aprapya, without achieving. Anyways, attaining repeated birth among the species of demonic life. O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Generally, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So here, Krishna is saying in the 19th verse, he casts them into the demonic species of life. And 20th verse says, birth after birth, they continue to take birth into the in the demonic life. So our birth that we have had, if you look in from that perspective, now, I mean, let's talk about America for that reason. America is a flourishing country, has a lot of wealth. Even a pauper on the street has more income than an IT engineer, a regular IT engineer. You know, they get almost 1,500 monthly stipend or $2,000 some amount of stipend from the government there. That becomes so that is definitely more than some of your income here, right? you know, so that is the situation. So that is a sense of a kind of prosperity. Even a pauper who doesn't do anything, he gets that much stipend, and then there are a lot of welfare scheme where he can get even his food for free, which means all is saving. Like this. So now with that, if in case somebody has an understanding, what would a common man say? Oh, अमेरिका में पैदा होता तो मैं कितना खुश होता. गरीबी नहीं होती, खुशहाली होती, ये सब. Now, but when you look at from this perspective, you would have born to an American, but to a demonic family, atheistic family. Is that a good birth? Now, I would say better is a better birth in India. Therefore, Shastra says one who is born in the Bharat Bhumi is really profound pious activity in the past life. So all of us who are here, all of us who are not here, who all are born in this Bharat Bhumi, have performed some serious pious activity because of which we got an opportunity. First of all, a sign of pious activity is we got a birth in human form of life. It's very important to understand our background. So we value our present. We did something good because of which we are in the human form of life. We did something definitely pious because of which we got a janam in an auspicious land within the auspicious family. We all have had that family, auspicious upbringing and all that. Now, given that opportunity, do not misuse it. Do not lose out on the opportunity. Imagine somebody is born in a wealthy family. He has all the privilege and opportunity from his childhood to become a successful person materially, right? He can get the best of the education. He can have best of the health because he has a boy who was born in a rich family. Similarly, culturally and spiritually, we all are born in a rich family. Rich means culturally and spiritually, and which means it is our onus and responsibility to take spirituality, what we could not do in our previous life because of which we had to take birth again, make sure we accomplish in this lifetime. So spirituality or spiritual life should be the priority for individuals. And that's what Prabhupada would make an appeal, that this my appeal to all the Indians, take this Krishna consciousness seriously. And those who are taken seriously, they have really, made a change in their life and the life of their family members and others. The best way you can express your love for your family members, the best way you can serve your nation and your society is by becoming God conscious. And the glory of becoming God conscious is the auspiciousness just does not remain up to you. By you becoming God conscious, the blessings are given to your immediate family members. Prahlad Maharaj received this benediction that your 7 generations would be delivered. So if you really want to serve your parents, how much rich you may become, can you really serve your parents? You can definitely get them a quality food. Maybe you can get them a quality medical attention, but you cannot save them from dying. You cannot save them from suffering. Is it in your control? That's not in your control. But what is in your control? You can perform an action in such a way that you can deliver them from the cycle of birth and death. That is in your control? Yes or no? If we all strive to become a pure devotee, then it is in our control, because that is just a given fact. Dhruv Maharaj went back home, right? No, he didn't went back home alone. Prior to him, his mother went, because it was his mother who directed him towards the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. She didn't do bhakti. I mean, it is of course a cultural lady, no doubt about it, but there's no discussion about her level of bhakti. It was all performed by Dhruv Maharaj. Who got the blessing also? So those of you who love your parents a lot, which every Indian, we are from that background, what is the best service you can do? You know, ultimately everybody has to die, which we cannot save them. How much ever wealthy you become. Now Mukesh Ambani, did his father died or not? You know, झुनझुन वाला, ये झूना वाला, हाँ, जिसके बारे में कल भी बात कर रहे थे उसका बंगलो अभी भी मेरे दिमाग के सामने, आंखों के सामने बड़ा था. So that झुनझुन वाला died or not in a young age. You know, Cyrus Mystery died in a car accident. Everyone dies. Rich people die. So best way is to become Krishna conscious. Think about it. Okay, मैंने इतना सब कुछ बोल तो दिया, हम पढ़ क्या रहे थे, मैं ये भूल गया. आगे purport. It is known that God is all merciful, but here we find that God is never merciful to the demonic. It is clearly stated that the demonic people, life after life, are put into the wombs of similar demons, and not achieving the mercy of the Supreme Lord, they go down and down. So at least they achieve bodies like those of cats, dogs, and hogs. It is clearly stated that such demons have practically no chance of receiving the mercy of God at any stage of later life. In the Vedas also it is stated that such persons gradually sink to become dogs and hogs. So our greatest responsibility is to ensure our family members do not become like this, a cockroach in the commode. I'm repeating Krishna. I don't give such fantastic examples. You have to really fast-sighted to see somebody of your known person becoming a cockroach in the commode. Okay. So it is clearly stated that such demons have practically no chance of receiving mercy of God at any stage. In the Vedas, it is also stated, maybe, and then argued in this connection that God should not be advertised as all merciful. He is not merciful to such demons. In answer to this question in the Vedanta Sutra, we find the Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. That's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also. The placing of the asuras, demons in the lowest status of life is simply another feature of his mercy. Just like when a child becomes mischievous. How many of you have got slapped by your mother? And how many if you look back and say, माने प्रेम से मारा था, नफरत से नहीं मारा था, right? जब पढ़ा था झापा, वो बात अलग है, बहुत गुस्सा आया होगा. But now when you look back, अच्छा हुआ मारा, दो और मारने चाहिए थे, माने कम मारा, मैं अभी और सुधर जाता. Yes or no? So punishment by the Lord, that's what Prabhupada is saying here, punishment by the Lord is a mercy of the Lord. Like this. Sometimes asuras are killed by the Supreme Lord, but this killing is also good for them. For in Vedic literature, we find that anyone who is killed by the Supreme Lord becomes liberated. There are instances in the history of many asuras, Ravana, Kamsa, and Hiranyakashipu, to whom the Lord appeared in various incarnations just to kill them. Therefore, God's mercy is shown to the asuras if they are fortunate enough to be killed by him. Text number 21, very, very famous shloka. त्रिविधं नरकासेदं द्वारं नाशनमात्मनः कामक्रोधस्तथा लोभस्तस्मादेतत्त्रयं त्यजेत्. What destroys life? What destroys prosperity? What destroys peace? Or what brings inauspiciousness? Let me ask you, don't look at the verse. I'm asking literally, generally, largely the soul century participants here. What destroys auspiciousness? What destroys peace? What is that brings our life? What is that makes our life miserable? So this verse answers there are three things that lead you to the gates of hell. What are three things? Any one thing that you can think of that can really destroy one's life? Not follow principle. Okay, that's too far off. Think about fundamental. What else? That really destroys your life? Lust. I'm asking actually soul sanctuary candidates here. Any quick thoughts that you can think of? If not, take a look at it. So त्रिविधम नरकादेशम. So नरक के 3 द्वार हैं और आज की जनता तीनों द्वारों पे चढ़ी हुई है. ट्रेन पे भीड़ लगी हुई है. वहाँ इतनी भीड़ लगी हुई है, वहाँ क्यू लगानी पड़ती है और क्यू लगा के भेजना पड़ता है. धक्का मुक्की हो रही है वहाँ पर, सब घुसने को तैयार हैं. जैसे होता था ना पहले ट्रेन होती थी, देखो यार, remember while growing up in those days when you be on the station, you see people climbing up on the top of the train, जैसे कैसे करके. उस प्रकार से भीड़ लगी हुई है इन 3 गेटों पे. त्रिविधम नरकासेदम द्वारम नाशनम. और ये द्वार हैं नाशनम आत्मना, जो व्यक्ति के नाश के लिए हैं. और क्या द्वार है वो? काम, भौतिक इच्छाएं, क्रोध, गुस्सा, एंड लोभ, ग्रीड. मैंने आपको कल भी कहा था, पहले भी कहा था, जहां जहां कामा भगवान उपयोग करते हैं, क्रोध उसके संग आता ही है, या यंगर सिबलिंग, है ना, जहां काम होगा वहां क्रोध होगा ही होगा. तो काम, क्रोध तथा लोभ, like that. But the beginning of demonic life is described here, and one tries to satisfy his lust, and when he cannot, anger and greed arises. A sane man who does not want to glide down to the species of demonic life must try to give up these three enemies, which can kill self to such an extent there will be no possibility of liberation from this material entanglement. So, for all of us, or some of us who are very proud of, oh, our civilization is becoming advanced, all is good with our current society. How many of you would agree the current society, the environment, only promotes unlimited desires, portrays anger and greed? Ye dil mange more. How many of you agree? This is what is a predominant thing in the society today. Everyone? So भाई अब तुम्हारे को चॉइस है, भगवान के द्वार पे आ जाओ या वहां खड़े होकर पिटाई खाते रहो. हाँ भाई, समझे? नहीं समझे तब समझेंगे जब तुम भगवान के भक्तों के संग आना रहना शुरू करोगे. ऑलराइट, टेक्स्ट नंबर 22. एतैव मुक्तकान्तेया तमोद्वारस्रविर्नरः आश्रति आत्मनः श्रेयः ततो याति परां गतिम्. And to think yourself not to get affected by association with such people, is it ever possible? You all agree this is what the environment outside is, this is what the society outside, and yet you do choose to live with the people from that society. Can you ever be protected from these things? Prabhupada would often say, how does anyone become an alcoholic? How does anyone start smoking? Any thoughts? कोई बच्चा शराब की बोतल लेकर तो माँ की गर्भ से बाहर निकलता नहीं. एक हाथ में शराब की बोतल, एक हाथ में माल बोरो का पैकेट, राइट? माल बोरो समथिंग, सिगरेट का पैकेट. अमेरिका में हुआ करता है ये माल बोरो, लाइक दिस. Okay, we have some experienced candidates here. Okay. So कोई माँ की गर्भ से तो निकलता नहीं. So how did he picked up? Now regarding this smoke, I mean all of you would have an experience of it. You know, at least from my experience, that is not much different from the exhaust pipe of a car. जब गाड़ी स्टार्ट करके वो 70 का मॉडल एम्बेसडर जैसे स्टार्ट हो तो काला धुआं फेंकती है. So the smoke may not be the काला धुआं, but वो उतना ही pollution create करता है. So now when that ambassador throws a smoke on you, what do? You run away. Now the fellow buys a smoke, puts in his mouth, and very confidently, he inhales. मतलब जैसे भी inhale करता होगा, जो भी he inhales. एंड बड़े स्टाइल में नाक से कान से जितने भी होल वहां से धुआं निकालता है. So my question is, why this rascal got into this thing? Why is he purchasing so sensationally? Why this fellow is purchasing misery for himself? Now शराब पी के, the road rage, the maximum causes for the road rage, the road accident is under the influence of alcohol. ऐसे नहीं कि सुबह कोई ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में उठ के भगवान का नाम जप करके ठंडे ठंडे पानी से नहाकर गाड़ी चलाने के लिए गया और खंबे से ठोक दिया. Never ever happened. ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ. वो कब हुआ है? नशे में हुआ है. कोई सीवर में गिर गया. कब गिरा है? नशे की हालत में. So everyone knows when you drink alcohol, something wrong going to happen. Like that. So why does person buys alcohol and drinks? Why does somebody buy smoke? And on top of it, you are guaranteed with a benediction. एक benediction तेरा फेफड़ा फट जाएगा, दूसरा benediction तेरा लीवर फट जाएगा. लीवर फेफड़ा सेम है? सेम ही है थोड़ी. किडनी खराब हो जाएगा. एक में लीवर खराब हो जाएगा, में किडनी खराब हो जाएगा. विद अ गिवन ब्लेसिंग. तुम ये भी को नहीं चाहिए, मिलेगी. My question is, why somebody does it? One word answer. What's that one word answer? No, new boys, यार. Soul Century candidate. कौन सा कैंडिडेट हो तुम अभी? Soul Century वाले. चुप बैठो. All the boys who have come for the 1 week training here. What do you say? देखा दोस्तों को करते हुए? आया ना? Have you seen outside people doing? Your friends doing probably? Why? Depression. So you have more reason not to be in depression anymore. Okay. What else? One reason, association. One reason, association. And if we think we are so confident, अपने कॉन्फिडेंस के भी हम रिकॉर्ड्स तोड़ देते हैं वैसे, हाँ, हमारी कॉन्फिडेंस की भी कोई सीमा नहीं रहती, हमें लगता है हमारे से कुछ नहीं होगा. Just like I was making a point about one confidence, 2 मिनट में सेटअप हो जाएगा सारा. So you know, I'm not correct. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, we are so confident. I'm just saying, you know, we should have some fail-safe operations here. We should have backup plan. We should take some margin like this. We should not be कि हाँ हो जाएगा, करके. अब वही कॉन्फिडेंस व्यक्ति बाहर जाके रहता है, सब बिगड़ेगा, मैं नहीं बिगड़ने वाला. How many of you have that? I'm telling you, I'm a victim of it. Huh? I am myself a victim of this overconfidence. All right? कोई नहीं बिगाड़ सकता मेरा. I am not gonna get spoiled. मैं जो I'm fortunate enough. I believe all of you are also fortunate enough. But I can definitely say for myself that I had a very, very good family, very good parentage, protective family, and good samskar which protected me not to go on the cross line. And I thought, सब सीख लिया, कोई बर्बाद नहीं कर सकता. Of course, I didn't become बर्बादी. ऐसा नहीं हुआ. But I'm just saying, I was on the brink of बर्बादी. मतलब बर्बादी का जो शुरू होने वाला था अमेरिका में जाके, वो तो भगवान की कृपा से भगवद गीता मिल गई, बाल बाल बच गए. But how many of you would say that you're also confident कि हम तो सब साफ सुथरे हैं, सब सीधे साधे हैं, कुछ नहीं होगा. हाथ खड़ा करो यहाँ पर, कॉन्फिडेंटली हाथ खड़ा करो. शर्मा रहे हो क्या? बाकी सब बर्बादी थे बचपन से जो हाथ खड़ा नहीं कर रहे. Raise your hand who you thought, okay, I'm all good, I have a good culture, good family, I'm not going to get into the wrong activities, wrong habits, and no bad people can influence me. How many of you had this thought? Okay, some of you have understood, had a thought, or some of you said, प्रभु जी हमारा तो बचपन से हम ऐसे थे. ठीक है, हमें बर्बाद करने वाला कोई बना ही नहीं. We were transforming the lives of others. Okay. Jokes apart. So now, those of you raise your hand. Keep your hands up. How many of you would agree you got affected? Now keep your hands up if you agree that you got affected by that association, bad association. You got affected by bad. How many of you agree? Yeah, that's it. So don't do that. Don't do that mistake. We cannot practice this unless we are in the association of like-minded people like that. Where were we, by the way, what we were reading? Text number 22. So what we read, translation? Oh no, only the verse. Text number 22, translation now. So now Krishna says how to gain freedom, how to make the right choices, how to make a transition from the demonic to the divine. Krishna says, Eter vimukta kanteya. How to become liberated from all this. Tamodwara stribhe naraha. Tamodwara, you this kama, krodha, and lobha, like this. The three kinds. Achrati atmanaha shreyas. Achrati means acharan karna, or to perform. What it does? Atmana shreyas. Shreyas means what is the best for the self. He performs actions which is best for the self. Achrati shreyas, like that. Tato yati param gatim, and which promises him to get the highest destination. And that destination, param gatim, is not of this world, is beyond this world. A translation: the man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti. Very interesting what Prabhupada is using. Look at it. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell. आप भाग के कहां से जाते हो? जहां रहते हो वहीं से तो भागोगे. Prabhupada is using interesting word. Has escaped. कोई बोलता है जेल से. He escaped from the jail, which means कहाँ रहता था? घर पे. Escape from the three gates of hell. So by default, where were we residing? Hell only. And what hell? Kama, Krodha, Lobha. We are born with it. So Prabhupada saying, the man who has escaped these three gates of hell, he performs acts conducive to self-realization, thus gradually attains a supreme destination. Purports. One should be very careful, very important purpose. One should be very careful of these three enemies to human life: lust, anger, and greed. The more a person is freed from lust, anger, and greed, the more his existence becomes pure. Then he can follow the rules and regularly and gradually raises himself to the platform of spiritual realization. One is so fortunate by such practices guaranteed for him. In the Vedic literature, the ways of action reaction are prescribed to enable one to come to the stage of purification. The whole method is based on giving up lust, greed, and anger. Please mark it. The whole premise is to give up these three things. Lust refers to desires, material desires. Anger, which arises because of it. And greed, again, it's just an what you can say, the next level of lust. Greed is what? For desires. I want more. One who is able to give up these three things. You can only give up when you have practiced to tolerate the urges. For example, let's say a smoke addict. We are, whereas Prabhupada says, we have escaped, which means we are the addicts of lust, anger, and greed. Okay. Now, a smoke addict, how does he give up his habit of smoking? Very first step is he has to tolerate the urge. Anything else? Anyone would like to give a clue? What happens? What is the next step? First, he has to tolerate the urge. Then, he has to find a replacement to that urge. Next is, we can take out the stroke now. Next is find a replacement to the urge. And then slowly, once restraining his senses and finding a replacement to his urge, then he would be able, gradually would be able to give it up. It is not an overnight endeavor. So we all are born with these things, and plus on top of it, we have been heavily conditioned by the outside world. Lust, anger, and greed. Now for us, first thing we need to do, we need to learn to tolerate. Now, in what situation can you tolerate? For example, let's say take a case of an alcoholic. For him to tolerate, where would it be easy for him to tolerate? Dekho, urge is natural, urge will come back because you have conditioned yourself, right? Where would it be possible for him to tolerate? Let's say he goes on a party with his friends in a pub and everyone around him is drinking. Think about it. What do you think? Would it be easy to tolerate? Or do you think will he give up eventually? There are a lot of chances of giving up. That not give up, given eventually. But imagine, rather than being there, he spends time with his family at home, where there's no alcohol served. So this potential is the need for it. He can still tolerate because of lust, anger, and greed. Now somebody thinks about practicing spirituality. The very fundamental premise of spirituality, as Prabhupada is saying, is to tolerate. Because we have to give this up. Before giving it up, we have to tolerate living away from the association of Vaishnavas, sadhus, or devotees. Is it ever possible? Impossible. Impossible. So what we can do at max outside is we may have some resemblance of spiritual life, where we can continue to practice a little bit of spiritual life, but we cannot wholeheartedly take it. And why people are not wholeheartedly able to take it up is because they have got some misunderstandings about the spiritual life. They think if I take it wholeheartedly, my aspirations will go away. I will not be able to do this, etc., etc. Or else the person is still very strongly attached to his material life, but he wants to have the best of both. And he ends up in no man's land. Na ghar ka na ghat ka, like that. So in that devotional service, liberational condition, by cultivating knowledge of this process, one can be elevated to the highest position of self-realization. The self-realization perfect in devotional service. In that devotional service, liberation of the conditioned soul is guaranteed. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, there are instituted the 4 orders of life and 4 statuses of life, called as a caste system and spiritual order, which you can call as social order and spiritual order. There are different rules and regulations for different castes or division of society, and if a person is able to follow them, he will be automatically raised to the highest platform of spiritual realization. Then he can have liberation without attachment. Hare Krishna. A very, very important chapter. So we'll pause here. We'll come to the last 2 verses of this chapter, probably tomorrow when we begin our reading. Hare Krishna. So just to summarize a few things, we started over from 19th verse. So, what is the destination of demoniac people? In the present life, life becomes hellish, and in the next life, they take birth in the demoniac wombs or demonic species. 20th verse, life after life, they continue to suffer like this. कहते हैं, Janmani, Janmani, Krishna says. And then text number 21, Krishna says, the three gates to hell. Three things that brings us to this hellish condition of life. What are the three things? First, Kama, lust. Second, Krodh, which is born of Kama. Third, greed or Lobha. These three things are which takes us to hellish condition of life. Text number 22, Krishna says, how to gain freedom from this? One who acts acharati atmana shreyas tato yati paramgati. One who only performs actions for the benefit of his soul, which means who would not give in into these three things, who will not give in to lust, anger, and greed. And then we talked about the purport, that Prabhupada says the whole method is based on giving up lust, anger, and greed. The whole spiritual culture, the whole Varnashrama Dharma, everything which was instituted by the Lord, as he says, Chaturveda, okay, Chaturvarna Maya Shasham Gunakarma Bhagavad, as Krishna has instituted the system, is for what? To help us become free from lust, anger, and greed, which means we are full of it, which means we already have it. And on top of it, being connected with the outside world all this while, we have increased it exponentially. So now if you want to get rid of this addiction to the lust, anger, and greed, the very first thing, you need to tolerate. Then replace, and then wait. Gradually, these things will go away. But you cannot tolerate if you are an alcoholic and you decide to go with your friends for a party in a pub and everyone around you is drinking. Can you tolerate? And that too when you have just begun to practice, or that too when you have just decided that I would give up now, then to impossible. Maybe you have become seasoned in tolerating, then it's a different thing. But you have just thought that I'll tolerate, and suddenly you go to the pub, you will do more than what outsider will do. It's a fact. Because you repressed yourself, and then now you're going to express yourself very violently. So if anyone wants to really practice spiritual life, live a life to the fullest, and make this life sublime and successful in the next, we have to immediately come in the association of Vaishnava. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, for this reason, he started ISKCON as an organization. He built temples all around. We built centers all around for this reason, to give facility for individuals to come and live in the association of sadhus. Of course, the association of sadhus has also been infiltrated now. Even the association of sadhus are not any more saintly or holy. Why? Jio ne jina haram kar diya hai. Because the smartphones have come into the picture, and you can very much be in the temple, in the ashrama, in the holy association of devotees, but you can be doing everything which we can call as abominable through the medium of internet. So the path ahead isn't going to be easy. It's going to become more complicated. Abhi 5G or 6G aega. Internet becomes more and more accessible. So imagine how difficult it would be. We need to put sincere endeavor for our recluse, or for our emancipation from the sufferings that this world gives us. We need to put a thought into it and sincere endeavor. With that, we pause it for today. Thank you everyone for joining in. Be with me, as I told you yesterday. We have some camp going on here, so I'm kind of going to a little explanation for the sake of all those new students who have come here for some training. Jagadaru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita.